Today we have with us the star of the movie Call Northside 777, Mr. James Stewart. Call Northside 777 is based on a true story of a journalist who uncovered evidence which led to a man accused of murdering a police officer in 1932 to be set free. Frank Wycheck, played by Richard Conte, is accused of murdering a police officer and sentenced to 99 years in prison in 1933. This case was then forgotten about for 11 years until Wycheck's mother offered a $5,000 reward in the newspaper to clear her son's name. This then caught the attention of the editor for the Chicago Times. This is when P.J. McNeil, played by the great James Stewart, must cover the story. As a journalist, he's skeptical about Wycheck being wrongly accused and thus begins his search to find the answer. So how do you feel about the way they portrayed your character as a journalist?
Well, I thought it was very noble the way that they wrote the part, because I feel it would be my responsibility as a journalist to pursue every lead and every piece of evidence to get to the truth.
So Wycheck's mother offered a $5,000 reward, which she worked for. Was that a hard amount of money to come by at this time?
Well, I'm sure it was for her. You have to realize that America was just coming out of the Great Depression at the time, and $5,000 was a lot of money. Now, my character McNeil, one of the first questions he probably had in his mind was how she got the money. And he probably supposed first that maybe the mob gave it to her and she was trying to spring her son. But I asked her, and she said, no, I work every day for 11 years, save every penny. And I told her that takes a lot of courage. And that's when she asked me if I could help. I told her, no, I can't do that. I just write the stories. And that's where the true investigation starts, right there.
As a journalist, you were not obligated to do anything to clear Wycheck's name. You did not want to at the beginning of this incident, but you changed your mind because it was a good human interest story. What would make this case interesting for readers of your coverage?
My character was quoted as saying that I'd like to get more of your story, something I can hit the public with. You know what I mean? Now, we talked about your mother earning that money to get more evidence to get him out of jail. Well, I think that's a good angle. Your faith in your mother and her faith in you. Then we also talked a little bit more about how he was railroaded. Well, I really wanted to play that angle up too. You see, I was really digging into anything that I could get for the public to get behind this case and to get Mr. Wycheck freed. But at the same time, we wanted to sell newspapers as well.
When editor Brian Kelly showed you the advertisement and was interested in finding out why someone would pay $5,000 for someone to find out who killed a cop 11 years ago, you said, quote, 1932 was open season for cops. Over on the north side, they were shooting them up in pairs, like a brace of ducks. Why?
8 policemen were murdered as well, and one of them just happened to be one of the subjects of the story we're doing here, which was covered by the newspapers. The newspapers were the main source of news at the time, and I believe the narrator said, I quote, said that history is on record, and the record is kept by the newspapermen who have made Chicago's papers great. And that was the quote.
After the discussion with Wycheck about him wanting you to stop covering his story, what was some information that he gave you that made you decide to help?
Well, one piece of information was Wadness Skudnick. Mr. Wycheck said that she alone was the reason why he was in jail. She identified it. And then I asked him if he'd be willing to take a lie detector test. Well, his response to me said, Mister, for 11 years, I've been waiting to have a shot at that box.
I believe it was about this time in the movie your investigation really starts to pick up speed, and there was a key piece of evidence you were after. How did your character go about that?
I was trying to find a way that this Skudnick dame may have seen Wycheck prior to his arrest and prior to the time that she identified him. So I tried to find the arrest records for 1932 And what I found out was that Mr. Wiechek was actually arrested on December 23rd. So now all I had to do was prove that the Skutnik gang had seen him prior to that date, and it would have discredited her story. And then we would have had a chance to free Mr. Wiechek.
How would something like that help your investigation?
Well, the idea was that Mr. Wiechek said that Mrs. Skutnik had seen him at least twice before December 23rd, where she identified him as one of the murderers. Well, my idea is if we could get a copy of a photograph of those two together with a newsboy in the background with the date of that paper reading December 22nd, it would discredit Mrs. Skutnik's story. And that is the way that we could free Mr. Wiechek. It's all about the date. We'd show them together on December 22nd as opposed to the 23rd. That would make the case.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Stewart. It was a pleasure having you.